Welcome to another episode of the A-Team at New Beginnings Farmstead. We have Egidio, myself, Ryan, and Jeff. And it's summer. It's 100 degrees out right now. We got quite the heat wave suddenly.
More than 100 today.
Oh, it's awful. You work outside in the blacktop. First thing I said to you is, I don't know how you don't have a heat stroke today. It's crazy. But you have some projects going on at your house.
Well, little stuff. It's for 11 years after I built my house, we didn't really do any landscaping. My house didn't have a whole lot of curb appeal. Had a nice lawn. I'd spent a lot of time on that. But I wanted to do flowers and bushes and trees, and I cleared quite a bit of land when I built my house. So it was time to make it what we wanted. So every year we do the annuals and the flower boxes, and every year we end up with 2 or 3 or 12 more boxes that have to be planted. So truckloads of flowers, but I don't want to do that every year. I want perennials. I want low maintenance. Although it doesn't seem like I've taken that track because I'm fascinated with fruit trees. I like flowering trees. They look really nice in the spring, but I'm fascinated with fruit trees. A lot of time, a lot of effort gets put into pruning them, keeping them nice. And I think everybody knows now how meticulous I am about planting or setting things up or organizing things. So every tree has to be 12 and a half feet away from one another in a perfectly straight line, as you can see with the ones across the front of my property so far. So, yeah. Yeah. But it makes it easier to mow, because that's the other thing. I don't like mowing around stuff, so I really enjoyed having a nice lawn for a long time, and then you plant things and you have to mow around them. Yeah, not great.
Do you have a zero turn?
I do. I have a zero turn, which helps, but you still can't get that close. You have to be careful with the trees, especially when they're small. So this year, my original goal was to plant 5 trees a year, and I figure I could cycle them through. Fruit trees are typically good for producers between 5 and 15 years, and then they move on. You should replace them. So if I did 5 trees a year, then I would have a nice orchard in 20 years. Nice fruit producers.
20 years. What are you going to be?
Pears, apples, plums. I planted a couple apricot trees. That was a new one. But it seems like that plan has gone awry, because now we have blueberries, high bush blueberries, which are fairly low maintenance, but I'm learning a lot about them. And the 5 tree per year plan is kind of going out the window, because I think we're up to 20 something, and we'll probably have another 20 or 25 before the end of the season.
These are at the top of the driveway, all up there?
All in the back, yeah. Well, some of them are on the side. So coming up the driveway on the left, I had another tree pass on, took that down, and I want to fill that in with fruit trees as well, because surprisingly, the other day I was able to spend some time looking at the sun. It is full sun, so I'm going to plant fruit trees on that side. I'm going to try my hand at peaches. A friend of mine had done peaches a few years ago, and he had great success. I didn't think
you have to plant more than one at a time, though, with the peach, right? They need to pollinate each other.
Most of them are like that. There's like apricot trees; they'll self-pollinate. Blueberry bushes will self-pollinate. But apple trees, you want to plant multiple trees, multiple varieties, so they can cross-pollinate. Plums, same way, and I think the peaches are the same way.
Now, do you have any fig trees?
I don't have any fig trees. There are 2 that I'd like to try. One is the hybrid chestnut tree, because you don't see chestnut trees around all that often anymore. So I'd like to try my hand at those. And again, fascinated by the apricots, because apricots are one of those things that you don't really hear about. But if you like them, you like them. But when you go to the store, they're $8 a pound. So, and if you know. Anyway, I think I'm going to get in over my head a little bit with that part of it. The trees are my thing.
You know, it just amazes me. I had a thought bubble that said no, and he popped up his head.
Yeah.
So, do you have fruit yet from any of these trees?
I don't. I actually, so the first 5 trees that I planted started to fruit this year, and I pulled them off because we had a terrible problem with caterpillars, and I don't want to stress the trees too much.
So you pulled the fruit off?
I did. I pulled the fruit off and pruned them early in the spring because we had an infestation of caterpillars very early.
So how do you avoid that in the future? I'm assuming you're not spraying.
No, this year I didn't want to take a chance. I want these trees to mature and survive, so I had to spray. I did use a highly recommended organic spray, and it seemed to work. But if it didn't work, I absolutely would have gone with a fruit or vegetable safe spray to get rid of them. Because again, trees aren't cheap.
Right.
So when you're planting these, are you able to plant them in a way that you don't have to weed whack around them? Or
No.
Weed trim, grass trim, whatever?
No, and I put cages on all my trees, so it makes
you
it
have
that much
to.
harder.
So you still have to like mow, and then.
I have to mow.
And how many trees?
I don't even know now.
30?
No, we're not to 30 yet, but it will be. I'll be over 30 by the end of this season.
He's still young.
I have to mow, and then I have to pull all the cages off, then weed whack, then put all the cages back, and I hand weed around the bases of all the trees so that I don't get so close.
No.
Because I have trunk protectors on them, so you don't girdle the tree when you weed whack.
Right.
But yeah,
You know what doesn't have to weed whack?
Blacktop.
Adams.
Oh, yeah, with the fruit. Yeah, no.
But so there's a reason behind it too. The property that I bought was part of one of the first Palatine settlement, or the first Palatine settlement in our area, and all of it was pasture and orchard forever. And there's still remnants of that. These are all overgrown orchards on these larger pieces of property, and the trees did really well. So I said, well, if they did it then, I could do it now. Why not? And I seem to be having pretty good luck with it.
Nice.
So when you are planting these trees, because you're doing it on a hill, so are you aware of like, okay, this tree is going to get this tall, so I can't, or are you just pruning everything so that like one tree isn't bigger and preventing the sun from getting to the other tree?
The trees that I'm planting are all expected to be about 12 to 15 foot in diameter and 12 to 15 feet tall. They're
In 30 years.
Semi-dwarf trees. They should mature between 10 and 12 years. And to be full height, full size, and then exist that way. But you still have to prune them and maintain them, especially if you want them to be good fruit producers. I don't know what I'm going to do with dozens of bushels of apples. I mean, I guess lots of pies and applesauce and apple juice and apple cider. And
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's been quite the experience, and I really enjoyed learning about it, because when you go to the grocery store and my daughter loves blueberries and raspberries and strawberries and all of that, and when you bring home a quart of blueberries and she eats the entire thing in one sitting, like, maybe you ought to get some blueberry bushes. But when you get blueberries for 2 or 3 weeks every season, but you have an entire freezer full of blueberries that have to last you for the rest of the year, you get creative with it. So hopefully I can bring her on to help with that, and then learn about canning and preserving the fruit that you only get for a season out of the year, or a couple weeks out of the year, and how you have to make that crop last.
So, lost what I was going to ask you. Deer. Do you have to worry about the deer?
I have a very big problem with deer. Yes, they not so much now. We had the EHD came through and really put a hurt on the herd, because I am a hunter. There was, for the first about 10 years that I had the property, during the winter when they would herd up, I'd have 25 or 30 deer in my yard. And it didn't matter because they were just in the yard. But now that I have fruit trees and flowers and bushes and plants, every time I go to the store to find something new that I want to plant, I have to look for things that are deer resistant, or plant things that aren't deer resistant with things that are deer resistant around them to keep them out. It's difficult to fence for deer because you need a high fence, and I have a large piece of property. I'm not going to fence the entire thing. So I rely on cages, again, planting things that they don't like to try and keep them away and not walk up to the side of the house and eat my bushes. I mean, I've learned from people, even in very urban areas, I actually got a good laugh last year in the spring. It was early on, and this guy had beautiful bushes. I think they were azaleas, actually. And the deer were right next to the house. The houses are 10 feet away from one another, and the deer walks into the front yard and starts eating his azalea bushes. He came out, yells at the deer, chases the deer around the house. Deer comes back around the other side while the guy was in the backyard and starts eating on the same bushes again. For me, it's not that easy because they come all hours of the day at night. So I put cages around things. That seemed to help. I did have a very bare spot on some of my trees where they would reach over the cage and eat around. So I have a section that's got no branches on it whatsoever. But also the power in numbers. That's the advantage to having a lot of trees. If they do happen to get into one or two, it's not so bad. You still have something that comes behind it.
Nice.
How many trees did you plant, Jeff?
Yes.
Kind of hard to plant trees in rock, Jeff.
It's true. I live on rock. Your father was the smartest man I know. Don't plant grass. Paint the rocks green.
That's it?
Yeah, we're all rock here.
Yeah.
Very hard to grow anything.
Well, we tried to plant a couple of trees on there for some privacy and sound deadening, but
Yeah,
they didn't last.
They didn't last.
The one tree we have is your favorite tree. When we were doing the front, the rock. Remember the tree that was in the front when we were doing the fake stone on the wall?
Oh, yeah.
That my wife wouldn't cut down?
Yep.
We cut it down.
Did you?
Yes.
So we had to work around it, but now it's gone.
Yes, because she was away.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not good with plants. I'm not good with trees.
No.
I'm good with grass. I weed whack up until it turns into bush.
Right.
The other day, I ended up cutting something with the weed whacker that I shouldn't have cut, admittedly, not knowing it. And I still have my hearing protection on. I have my mask down. I'm weed trimming, and I can hear her screaming at me. I'm like, what? Why would you cut that down? I said, I don't know. She goes,
It's the one thing he cuts down.
it was pink. I go, okay.
Yeah.
It's on the line. It's right here on the line.
Pink flowers. Why would you cut that down?
It looks
Because
like
it
it's
was
growing.
there?
Looks like it's growing back. So
Well, and that's it. So when you see people that have these amazing flower beds and gardens and all that, I have a lot of respect for
Oh, yeah.
what it takes to
Absolutely.
go into keeping
Yeah.
that nice. Because you can mulch all you want. You can put down, weed fabric, and you can use, certain weed killers or preen to keep weeds from growing. But you still have to get on your hands and knees and weed these things. If you want nice gardens, you still have to mulch or turn over your mulch every single year. You still have to use some kind of fertilizer on these things to keep them nice. It's a lot of work.
So I know last year you guys got the rubber mulch.
rubber
How
mulch,
is that?
yeah.
Is that better?
Great.
Well,
We don't have flower beds and stuff like that, but it's...
but it keeps the...
yeah, so
the-
far.
Yeah, that's good. You don't have that. I don't...
The
I've
rubber
never-
mulch?
Yeah.
No, I was actually just looking at it at our local big box store. They had a couple pallets of it sitting there. I was reading the bag. Just not sold on it, especially having a 3-year-old, because where I would put that, I have rock, and she likes to play with the rocks and move them around and throw them all over the place. And I feel like if I had mulch there, she would do the same with that. So I would have mulch all over the place.
Yeah, everything we do is low maintenance.
that's it.
Low
I am-
everything.
Every year I'm becoming
Everything.
more and more low maintenance.
Yeah.
What do you say? Final's final.
Vinyl is final.
That's it.
Even the perennials. I mean, this year we last year I planted some. This year we're going to plant some more, and they're still not set it and forget it. Yeah, they'll come back every year if you treat them right, but then they need to be separated and transplanted to other places. They don't just go on
That's
their
a lot
own.
of work.
There's very little set it and forget it to any of it.
Yeah, I don't have that kind of. No.
Yep.
I don't have that kind of time.
That's why I want a couple of big rocks down there.
That you have
on
to weed
gravel.
whack around.
Yeah.
No.
No, then you can just spray them.
With what?
With what?
Anything. You can do the vinegar and what is it? There's Epsom
You still
salt.
gotta spray
Vinegar,
it.
Epsom salts.
And you still got to spray them.
Yeah, but if you don't have plants or flowers around them that you're trying to keep alive, then you can spray them with the vinegar and the Epsom salt because you're not killing anything but the weeds.
But you could just pass them right through with the mower. If those rocks weren't there, you just mow the grass.
Yeah.
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 It's true.
All right. Well, that ends up another episode of whatever we were talking about: plants, trees, flowers, what was it?
Landscaping.
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 Now that it's summer,
Craziness.
finally stopped raining.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, Ryan tells me everything he's doing. I appreciate the amount of work he put
Yeah.
into it. It's a lot. And he left out the whole story about going to Tractor Supply and feeling the leaves and touching the plants and talking to them and everything you do.
Oh, now again, let's talk about that. All right, so you got trees, and all these stores get shipped all these trees every year, and trees are expensive, but they sit there and they sit there, and
It's like you go shopping for puppies at a pet store, really.
they half get watered, and when it comes to be the end of the season and they don't think they're going to sell them, then they mark them down considerably to try and sell them, but they're already half dead. So you just wasted, we have 3 big box stores here in Kingston that sell these things, and each of them probably has 30 or 40 trees at it. Now multiply that by how many different stores there are in just our region. All these trees are entirely wasted. Wasted for nothing. Food producing trees. Wasted for nothing. I want to give them a home and take care of them.
See?
Aww. Let's give him a home.
All right.
He's
listen, I wanna
rescuing
thank
the
everyone.
trees.
If you're still here watching and listening, we appreciate it.
And we hope you like and subscribe, and we'll see you again soon.